Okay, hey everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. God has a lot to say today. I'm so excited to be sharing my baby with you guys. It's been a long time coming. It has been a long journey, and I just feel so blessed and honored to be a mouthpiece and to be here sharing this with you. So I promise you, this one may be long, but if you stay to the end, it is going to bless your life. So please just be patient with me. And I also may do a part 2 just because he has so much that he wants me to share. So I'm first just going to start out with just like a small testimony of how God gave me this grand assignment. It has taken a while for me to accept the weight of the assignment, but now I'm getting to a point of excitement as it is coming to life. I'm just so excited. God's so good. So 2 years ago, I gave God my yes, and I found out I was a prophet. I just found out a lot of things about myself and my life. And one day God told me to quit my job and that I was moving. So the very same day that he told me to quit my job, I quit my job. I left almost 6-figure job to follow God, and I ended up in Arlington, Texas. So I moved from myself and my kids from Austin, Texas to Arlington, Texas. And very much just like Abraham, God says, leave your home and go to a place where I will show you, right? I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I was going somewhere. And so God just told me to put Arlington, Texas into my GPS, right? And sometimes he always gives me step by step. This is how he has trained me in my obedience. This is how I have learned to become so familiar with his voice and when he's speaking to me. So I put Arlington, Texas in my GPS. I end up at a place called Mission Arlington, right? So I leave my 6-figure job to go and volunteer at a nonprofit called Mission Arlington. I know. So I went from 6 figures to no income to volunteering, right? Myself and my kids lived in a hotel for a very long time. And God just revealed to me some cracks in the system because this organization was Christian based. Well, I'm not going to say anything bad about the place because I mentioned the name. God just showed me some cracks in the system, right? There were a bunch of needs that weren't being met. A lot of God's children were going to this organization and they just lacked resources. It wasn't because they were bad people or, so a lot of needs weren't being met just because of that. Great organization, great people. I got to volunteer in the clinic. I got to volunteer in the admin, in the childcare, like pretty much every anything that they had going on there, I got to volunteer in the nonprofit. So one day God reveals to me that I'm going to have an organization modeled after this place of my own, right? And this is where mental shifts come in. The CEO or the founder of Mission Arlington was a very nice lady, but she's up in age, right? So it was coming time for her to retire. And I was thinking that I was going to take over her organization, and God's like, no, it's going to be just like this, but it's not going to be this, right? So I'm like, okay. So the more I volunteer, God reveals more things to me. And then I start to see videos like this.
Once upon a time, King Richard lost his kingdom. And though his trusty friends were heartbroken, the king was undaunted.
There!
For he found the perfect place to rebuild. Sort of.
It's perfect. Let's get to work.
Yet Yet King Richard and his friends must beware, for they are not alone. This kingdom that builds also attacks.
Yes, this place will do.
And just how big can the kingdom get, you ask? Well, how much can you play?
Okay, so I started, like, I used to play games on my phone, but I would start to see this trailer everywhere all the time, right? So I was just like, okay, God, why do you keep showing me this? Anytime God is showing you something over and over, you need to pay attention. There are no coincidences with God. Everything that he shows you is for a reason. Take heed to the warnings, okay? So I have the mantle, and I relate to a lot of figures in the Bible, right? I have a Solomon mantle. Solomon was the wisest king in the Bible. He was one of the richest kings in the Bible. But he had love for God's people, right? David, whom was Solomon's father, wanted to build God a temple where that his spirit could dwell, right? God said, no, you've shed too much blood. There will be a temple built for me, but your son Solomon is going to build it, right? So this is where I come in. I also relate to Joseph, right? I have a Joseph mantle. I have a Solomon mantle. And so one day I come across 1 Chronicles 22:5, right? And it says, David, my son Solomon, is young and inexperienced, and the house to be built for the Lord shall be of great magnificence and fame and splendor in the sight of all the nations. Therefore, I will make preparations for it. So David made extensive preparations before his death. Did y'all hear what I just said? My son Solomon is young and inexperienced, and the house to be built for the Lord shall be of great magnificence and fame and splendor in the sight of all the nations. Okay, so now the Royal Kingdom trailer comes back to me, and I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, what did you call me here to do? Because I'm like, it's just me. Like, so God reveals to me that I am going to be over a community center, right? A lot of the nonprofits and organizations that God is bringing up right now, they're going to be all Jesus, but they're going to look secular, right? Because God wants it to be welcoming to all people. At the very top of God's heart is the fact that people don't attend church anymore and people don't believe in him anymore. These are the first two things that he said to me. When I found out I was a prophet, he spoke about these things like right off the top, right? People don't want to go to church anymore and they don't believe in him. So, and I wrote down some things too, because he has shared with me what a lot of you are thinking, right? Some of you feel like it's vain to stay to serve God. Some of y'all feel like, what's the point? What is the profit we gain from following him? There's a lot of suffering, a lot of struggling. So a lot of you feel like, what is the point? A lot of you feel like evildoers are prospering while God's children perish. Come on, I know somebody can relate. Some of y'all feel like God keeps putting you to the test, but the wicked are escaping, right? Why should we obey God when the wicked is doing fine? They break every rule and nothing bad happens to them. Meanwhile, we try to do right and we struggle. Where is the justice, right? These are all the things that he's allowing me to hear that are on some of your hearts. And I'm just going to be honest and say that I can relate sometimes. Like in the beginning, after my purpose being revealed to me and I had to come back to a job that I am so dissatisfied for. I am not serving in purpose here. I started to feel like, well, you took me out of everything that I had just to show me and reveal to me who I am. for me to end up back in the 9 to 5 that I hate, right? So I felt for a long time, what is the point? But now that I am seeing all of my promises come to pass, I understand. So God says, I have an unwavering commitment to my people to bring every promise to pass, okay? I have an unwavering commitment to my people to bring every promise to pass. Your laboring is not in vain. Your struggling is not in vain. And look, y'all, this is good. Just wait until I reveal everything to you. Okay, so another big issue for God is that his spirit cannot dwell among a lot of the spiritual organizations that exist today because things are not being run properly. There are a lot of churches robbing God. There are a lot of churches existing for fame and popularity. There is no true transformation taking place in the church. Okay, so with true transformation, God will reveal everything to you. A lot of you have been going to the same church for a long time. You do not hear from God. You do not know what your true purpose is. And that's a big issue for him, right? So God wanted a temple where his spirit can dwell, where people can come to him directly and hear from him directly, right? So that's a big part of my mental as well. So when I first got to Arlington, there was a coffee shop that I would go to all the time, and it was called Nehemiah's Coffee House, right? And this is also how I first learned about my mantle, and this is in Nehemiah chapter 2. Nehemiah is sent to Jerusalem. So this is where Nehemiah finds out that the city where his father was buried lies in ruins, and its gates have been destroyed by fire. Now, in modern day times, that's not the exact picture of the church, but God is saying that basically, like, my people don't have true hope. My people don't hear from me. My people are not experiencing manifestation of my presence because the church is lying in ruins. The leadership is corrupt and wicked, right? So there's some changes that need to be made. My spirit cannot dwell in a place because I am holy, I am perfect. I cannot just be anywhere, okay? So God is trying to break the spirit of religion. There's a religion in the churches. The Holy Spirit does not dwell in a lot of these organizations, is what I'm trying to say. So Nehemiah was a cupbearer. So he requests from the king in verse 4, he says, if it pleases the king and if your servant has found favor in your sight, I ask that you send me to Judah, to the city where my fathers are buried, so I may rebuild it. I am Nehemiah. I have been tasked to rebuild the temple where the Lord's spirit can dwell. Okay? So, after Nehemiah arrives in Jerusalem, he had been there for 3 days. He did not tell anyone what God had laid on his heart to do for Jerusalem. So that's like a lot of us. God has given us a dream. God has given us a task. He told us not to tell anybody, right? This is what I'm tasking you to do. But while you're building, while you are organizing, while we were getting things in order, while sponsorship is arriving, be quiet. Don't tell anyone about it. So my life is very biblical. Your life is very biblical. We just have to pay attention to what's going on. So verse 18 says, I also told him that the gracious hand of my God upon me and what the king has said to me. Let us start rebuilding, they replied, and set their hands to this good work. So once God told me what I was tasked to do, that's what I started doing. I started working, building, designing, right? Okay, now let's get into the prophetic word. This is what God says. Do not confuse my silence for absence. This is my plan to set the world right again. I am cleansing my house, restoring reverence, healing families, purifying worship, and strengthening stewardship so that when I come, I find a prepared people. Come on, somebody. I have an unwavering commitment to my people to bring every promise I gave to them to pass. This is not charity. This is covenant restoration. This is the Father rebuilding his children. not just rescuing them from crisis, but reestablishing them in purpose. I am rebuilding my cities of refuge in this hour. Hallelujah. Not made of stone alone, but of people who carry my heart. These are the mantle shifts that I've been talking about. New leadership coming in. Just as in Numbers 35, the cities of refuge are places of protection, mercy, and due process. Places where the accused could run and not be destroyed. I am raising communities where the wounded, the misjudged, the financially crushed, the spiritually weary, and the displaced can run and find safety. These will not be survival centers. They will be restoration hubs. They will carry provision without shame, fellowship without manipulation, teaching without control, holiness without harshness, and accountability without condemnation. I'm restoring dignity before I restore position. These city hubs will look like land that produces its own food, homes that house the displaced, tables where enemies can reconcile. Come on, somebody. Classrooms teaching stewardship and financial literacy, prayer rooms filled with oil and intercession, communities modeled after Acts 2 where no one lacked. There will always be resources because I will be the source. My refuge will not create dependency, it will activate destiny. You've been seeing land, provision, new organizations, and people gathering because this is not just metaphorical, it is structural. This is real, y'all. This is happening right now. I can tell you this because I am building one of the communities. I am establishing ecosystems of righteousness where spiritual covering and practical assistance coexist. And hear this clearly. These cities will not just protect people from danger, they will protect people from returning to old cycles. It is a season of renewed hope. I'm not gonna cry. It is a season of divine restructuring. It is a season where mercy and justice kiss again. Okay, I'm back, y'all. So, a lot of you are moving soon. A lot of you are moving to Texas. If you have been seeing symbols of Texas, Texas flags, anything resembling Texas, you are moving to Texas soon. Texas will be the Bible Belt. There will be lots of organizations, community hubs created and established for the restoration of God's children. I cannot run this community center on my own, so a lot of you are moving as part of your inheritance and restoration and to help me restore God's children. So the Higher Standard Society is my baby, and it has just been such a long time coming for me to even, for a long time I thought that it wasn't even going to happen or come to pass, but God is good, and He's never going to give us a word or a promise and just let it fall to the ground, right? So the Higher Standard Society is not a church. It is everything more than a facility. It's a living, breathing community hub where the doors are always open, the lights are always on. It's designed to meet needs in real time. It's going to be a place where you can always come, let's just stop by the center, see what's going on. You can pick up a game of basketball. There'll be exercise, fitness classes going on, dance classes going on. God is really big on holistic wellness, and this is tailored to the whole person, right? So you can't just focus on your fitness and not focus on your mental. You can't just eat right and not exercise, right? You can't just go to church and not exercise or heal your mental, right? God focuses on the whole person, spiritual, mental, physical, There's one more I can't think right now because I'm so excited. But God focuses on the whole person, and that's what this center is designed for. There's financial literacy classes. There's going to be free business coaching. Everything is free too. Did I not? I didn't say that, y'all. Every single thing is free. There are no membership fees. Everything is free because this is a part of God's plan to restore his people, right? God has been giving you business ideas that you don't know how to start. You don't have any coaching. You don't have any guidance. There's going to be financial literacy classes and business coaching. There's going to be family game nights. There's going to be a team center with PS5s and teen job opportunities just to keep money in the pockets of the kids, to keep them off the streets, right? There's going to be motivation to come here and fellowship every single day, right? You don't ever have to worry about not having plans on a Saturday, because before I was called to ministry, I owned a party planning business. Y'all, for so long I have been searching for my thing. Like, God, what have you called me to do? I owned a women's club, so I have the gift of bringing people together, celebrating people, right? There's going to be GED programs. You can get your diploma, right? There's going to be grants and funds for God, the people that God are sending back to school, right? To build some of the free hospitals and clinics that he's bringing up in this time. There are doctors and nurses watching me. You have a dream in your heart right now, and God is going to fund your education, y'all. So many things going on at any given time of the day, right? There are worship rooms where you can just go and sit in God's presence, right? And you can just sit with him and cry and let him love on you and heal you, love you back to life. Like, it is going to be the new standard of spiritual organizations, designed for all people, not just spiritual people. There will not be any cliques in here, right? Everyone is welcome. There is going to be housing, right, for domestic violence, people that have been misplaced. We get to go get the homeless off the street so that they have a place to sleep, y'all. Oh God, a donation center, right, where you can come and donate your things to bless the community, right? We can give it back to the community. Everything is free. We don't charge for anything. Every race, every age, every background, people of all colors just coming back together to love on each other, to love on God. If you never heard of the Acts 2 church, like, this was God's original design for the church. There were no cliques. Everybody compiled their resources together to make sure everybody had what they needed. And that's exactly what this organization is going to do. I'm just so blessed and honored. Generosity will replace scarcity, right? There will be no need unmet. God wanted, oh God, and let me just tell y'all how good he is, right? And I'll let y'all go. Before he sent me to Arlington, I worked at a rehab hospital, and across the street there was a Lifetime Fitness, and it just stuck out to me. Every time I would drive by it, the parking lot was completely filled. It didn't matter what time of the day I drove by it, 10 p.m. at night, 7 a.m. in the morning, the parking lot was always full. And I would always ask God, like, what do they have going on in there that people want to work out at any time of the day? And then he prompted me to go and look up Lifetime Fitness, y'all. They have everything in Lifetime Fitness. Anything that you can think of, they have it there. And so this was God's model for his temple, right? You see the pictures, like, this is him. This is his plan. This is none of me, all of him. None of me, all of him. Like, he's so good. He's so good. So, yeah. So it's going to be a gathering place for rebuilding of lives, strengthening of families, renewing hope, a community where everybody can belong, right? A lot of us feel misplaced. A lot of us feel like we don't have purpose. A lot of people feel like we're just existing, and that's a lie. In this place, you're going to learn your purpose. I will have Sunday Q&A sessions, right? So people don't need another sermon. People don't need any more encouragement. They need resources, right? People need to get back on their feet. People need their mortgages caught up, right? People need their rent caught up. People need to keep their lights on. So there will be financial resources as well. You don't need another sermon, right? You need to get back on your feet so that you can find your place in the world, and you can do what God called you to do. And that's exactly what you're going to be able to do at the Higher Standard Society. So I love y'all so much. I feel so blessed that God has honored me with the task. I know that it is weighty. I know that it's going to be tough, but I'm so excited to just be a part of it. So that this is for somebody. You're moving to Texas. A lot of y'all are moving to Texas. God has been telling you to pack your bags, to get ready to go, because you are moving soon. And yeah, this is a time of restoration, and he's doing everything he said he was going to do. So I just love y'all so much. I thank y'all for sticking with me to the end, and it's kingdom time. So I'll see y'all in my next word. I love y'all so much. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Oh wait, y'all, I have just like a few more scriptures to share with you, because this is like, I can't leave this part out. So this is Isaiah 2, and it's called the mountain of the Lord. Like, this is just all the confirmation that God has given me. Isaiah 2 is entitled The Mountain of the Lord. This is what it says. In the last days, the mountain of the Lord's temple will be established as the highest of the mountains. It will be exalted above the hills, and all nations will stream to it, right? That's the Higher Standard Society, right? People from all over are going to be welcome there. They're going to come. Many people will come and say, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the temple of the God of Jacob. He will teach us his ways so that we may walk in his paths. The law will go out from Zion, the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He will judge between the nations and will settle disputes for many peoples. They will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nations will not take up sword against nation, nor will they train for war anymore. Come, descendants of Jacob, let us walk in the light of the Lord, right? So this is going to be a place of rest. And lastly, God took me to Ezekiel, right? And this is going to bless a lot of you. So Ezekiel was a prophet. God took him up in a vision, and he's given him the measurements for the restoration of the temple. Precise measurements and structure divinely ordered for restoration. So chapter 40 is entitled The New Temple. Chapter 43 is God's glory rest on the temple. Come on, I hope y'all following me. Chapter 44 is the priesthood restored. Chapter 45 is Israel fully restored. Come on, somebody. So everything that you're going to receive through the community center is going to be a part of your restoration and your inheritance. Like, this is God's divine plan to save and rescue you. And in chapter 48 is the division of the land. And I'm going to insert a picture, right? So the community center is not a community center. It's like the New Jerusalem. Y'all, he's so brilliant. He's so brilliant. I'm going to insert a picture here and I'm going to go. But y'all get excited, because this is what he's doing right now in this time, in this hour. And I know this is true because I'm living it and he tasked me to do it. So your restoration is here. No more prophetic words. No more just talking about it. The resources are here. The restoration is here. Y'all get excited. Your Father loves you, and he's coming through for you. So I love you so much. I'll talk to you later. Bye.